In the Box interviews going on here at NADA 2020. I'm Joey Little from Modern Dealership Magazine. Thanks to AutoAlert for sponsoring and putting us up in the middle of their very busy and very large booth here in the north town or in the south area. I'm here with Laurie Foster. Laurie Foster, you have your own business. You're a business owner. You're a trainer. You're a consultant, and all of that. I was told to bring you on in the Box because of your focus on retention. Correct?
Absolutely.
And you're not just automotive.
No.
You're outside the industry too, but with your background at AutoNation, you also spent some time at Cars.com.
Correct.
And you're at Axios as well?
No.
No, not at Axios?
Oh, that was Auxilio.
Auxilio.
Yes,
I
That's okay.
I read it and I just put it in my head. I told you it's been a long day.
Good job.
There's a lot of different aspects that are putting in that give you the power that you need to talk about retention. Who do you talk to, and what's your elevator pitch to them about why they need to talk to you?
So it depends a little bit on always the leaders of the company, but it depends on whether I'm talking to dealers or vendors, because right now the retention for clients for vendors has really taken off. A lot of people are building their companies with an exit strategy in mind, but they're really not thinking about the amount of client churn that they have, and the PE guys want to know that.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden the valuations are affected dramatically by how much is going back out the tailpipe, not just how much came in. They want to look at the strength of those relationships and the service value. And as we've seen, as you know, with dealerships, we talk about employee retention and we talk about the client retention and client loyalty, customer loyalty programs. The vendors, as great as they've been, all of a sudden they're facing some of the same things that our dealers have faced. Margin compression, a lot of competitors in the space,
right.
And they haven't been really prepared to handle that. And what we've seen is service levels drop off with vendors, and dealers aren't having it. And dealers now look at this place, they have more choices than ever before. And so setting yourself apart, differentiating, delineating, what do we do, how do we do it, and making sure that the entire organization, not the one key point of contact that they had, understands how to use their products to make a difference. So that's why client retention with vendors has become
is a big
25% of my life.
Do you
right
see
now.
churn as a big challenge in automotive industry software?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is.
It's huge.
Because I know when I was with Vin Solutions, when we were building Vin Solutions, our focus was on build. When we were acquired by AutoTrader, all of a sudden they come in and pump the brakes and say, listen, we're going to stop building and you guys need to start working on retention,
right.
Churn. You need to start, keeping the customers on. Because even if you build new stuff, if we have 2,500 dealers and we're losing 100 rooftops a month, but we're adding 110 rooftops a month, we're only really adding 10.
I know.
And it looks great in sales until you get into the other side of that. Is that what you see?
Yeah, absolutely.
And is innovation one of those things that tends to do that?
Yeah, no, I think right now it's across all channels, across all their vendors. Dealers are re-examining all of their contracts with everyone now. And the last guy in might be the guy that gets the new look. We was just talking to one of your folks about how important it is to take a company that's now AutoAlert has become almost one of the institutional companies. It's been around so long. Making sure the dealer knows how fresh you are and that you're at the top of it, because they walk in here and somebody else who may or may not have a superior product, they just get the attention and shiny new. We always know how that goes. So it's real important to take a look at, percentage-wise, how much are you bringing in, and not just how many are bringing in and going out. Like, what is your time to break even with that client? Because it costs something with your people and all of your resources to gain a client. There's a break-even date, and most companies aren't identifying that. And I had one client who their break-even date was 105 days. They were losing about 30% of their clients at the 90-day mark. So they'd have done better off to not even sell them.
So I'm looking at you, the name of your company is the Foster Strategies Group. I want to ask you, I don't want you to give away the recipe to the secret sauce, but when you come into a company, and I know you were talking to one of AutoAlert's VP of sales, right?
Right.
What are you implementing with that company? What are you looking at first? Like when you come in and they're saying, hey, listen, we need some help. I'm not saying that AutoAlert's saying that, they just happen to be talking to them, but we need some help. What do you suggest?
Right. The first thing is I want to see the data, and I don't want anyone's influence on it. I just want to see what's happening without any.
Are you looking at churn data, or are you looking at customer onboarding and
everything they can possibly give me?
Okay.
And I'll roll it up into the story that I need, or into like.
Does it help if they use Salesforce or Sugar or something like that, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Like, I love data. I'm very much equally balanced. Data, people, and then communication and behaviors. So I'll take a look at the data, see what's going on, but I really want to know the people. I sit down at the table with all the leaders in the organization because most people approach something like this, they force it under the sales division, and it's not just a sales situation. It's what's going on with the products, what's going on with marketing, what's going on with Marcom, like how are they communicating with you before you were a customer, as you were onboarding and ongoing. And that's part of my secret sauce is we go in and we take a look at what was the dealership hearing from the organization before and through, and what were things that we could predict that would be potential points, risk indicators that it was or was not going well, other than Laurie is the AE responsible for Joey, the GM, and we're just assuming that it's all going beautifully. Also, another point, I take a look at, oversimplifying it here, but I take a look at how are your people paid and recognized? Because the scenario you were talking about, the team, I could easily predict, the team is rewarded, like even like high fives and things like that for attaining a client, but there's nothing on the back end about retaining that client.
Does he, grabbing a water,
that's
it's
okay.
tickling my throat like
it's
all
Vegas.
day. Yeah.
I was just coughing, yeah, so don't worry.
How many companies do you believe, and be honest with me, because I mean, you can pitch who you are and stuff, but honestly, how many companies do you think need somebody like you to come in and look at what they're doing?
So I think almost, well
I would say 100%. Would
100%.
you? Yeah.
Because here's the funny thing, like you have this strata that's struggling,
Yeah.
that need to stabilize. Stable, that want to succeed, that they're frustrated they can't get there, succeeding, and those guys, Joey, they want to go next level. They're not okay with even 1% churn. They want to crush it. They want none, because when that's happening, it distracts them. When a client says that they might be abandoning, it's all hands on deck. We're throwing money at it. We're throwing the C-suite at it. It's a lot of time and energy, and it's distracting people from the mission of going forward.
Yeah.
So the very best companies have low tolerance for churn, so they want to work on it the most. So everybody, I would just say, everybody can use help like this. But I approach it just a little differently based on where they are.
Yeah.
And let's just get them, whatever the next natural step is, let's get them there before we try. You can't take them from struggling to the stars.
Right.
Let's
it's
very
a process.
stable. Right, and one thing I'm really proud of that we do is that we make, when we go in, we're trying to work our way out of a job. Right? I'm trying to go in and get
Make it better.
Established. Right.
You're like a doctor.
Right, so they're sustainable, right, and repeatable without me. So when I say behavioral, it's behavioral through the organization. Everyone sees their role, like you see in Traction, by Gino Wickman. Like these are everyone's. Here's the company's goals. Everyone's individual role to that. The lead measures and KPIs that tell us that they're getting there.
Do you do this personally too? Like, I'm losing friends. My churn is really high on friends. I think I'm at like 3%. And I was just curious if you come and help me and figure out where my churn's.
Well, it depends on what you're doing to send all those friends away, Joey.
Absolutely, it's not my fault. It's obviously their fault.
Them.
Yeah.
It's all them.
So I'm looking at, you've got a lot of information on LinkedIn. Is there a website that goes along with?
Yeah, I have my websites. My website's up to date. It's pretty powerful. It's www.fosterstrategiesgroup.com.
So it's plural, yeah. Foster Strategies.
You can't just have one strategy. That'd be kind of silly, wouldn't it?
I completely agree with you. So yeah, I'm checking it out. You got to connect. I think it's an eye-opening experience that companies need to. And it's funny too, because a lot of companies that are here at NADA look at customer retention for dealers.
Right.
But yet they're probably not even looking in their own house. But our customers are the dealers, and how's their retention rate? So
yeah, and the great thing that I can bring is I've had my feet in both worlds.
Yeah.
And I've literally spent time with thousands and thousands of dealers through the jobs that I've been able to have throughout time, and I've been on the digital marketing side, so I understand both worlds. I understand everyone's objectives. We have a failure to clearly communicate together. So that's why when you see my Better Together and transforming partnerships on LinkedIn all the time, it's because I really believe if you're the dealer and I'm lifting my service to you, you become better, and then we become better partners. And then
it's a good philosophy.
Yeah, and I believe that with everyone. I believe that if you start with the end in mind of everyone can and will win if we do this right. Like, you set aside all ego and you just get pride going to work. Then you and I, let's say I'm the vendor and you're the client, now we're sitting at the same side of the table working on a common objective,
right,
rather than, well, your team clearly failed to, we did the marketing, your people dropped the ball, well, you didn't, what campaigns did
we need you to
run?
write for Modern Dealership Magazine.
Yeah.
We need a
to.
feature from you every once in a while, get something in there, talk about, because what Modern Dealership is trying to do is suggest what the modern dealership is all about,
right?
Moving to the future. So if you're willing and able, give me your card. I got it connected on here. We'll get you connected. We'd love to hear more from you. It's Laurie Foster from Foster Strategies Group. You need to get a hold of your retention. This lady right here. Thank you for coming on.
Joey, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.